Thank you, Judy. I also tell people how fortunate we are to have such world-class expertise here in the city in helping us. And we really wouldn't be able to think about these issues without all of the information and partnerships that you've heard today and the people you've met. So thank you to all of the panelists for helping us try to navigate this future at the city. So as Judy mentioned, I'm the chair of our Automated Vehicles Working Group. It's a group of 30 different agencies and divisions at the city because we want to take a very holistic look at automation and the disruption and potential that it can bring. So before I get too involved, I do have to put out a disclaimer that at this point, the city does not have an official policy or position around automated vehicles or these disruptive technologies. We're working on that, and as staff, we've been building our expertise internally, and we'll be recommending a policy position to City Council this year. So everything you hear right now is really the results of our internal work and our internal thinking around automated vehicles. So to help us address that, we're creating a tactical plan. And the idea is that we want to make Toronto ready for automation. We want to be able to take care of this, this potential disruption that's coming. It's a really once-in-a-century opportunity, as you've heard. We can see the future on the horizon. So let's take some time now. Let's make it a priority to get ready for it before it arrives. And part of getting ready for it is changing our transportation system, making it more effective, making it more equal so that everyone has equal access to it and that it works better than ever before. And lastly, we at the city want to be leaders internally, so within our own operations, and we want the city, the broader city of Toronto, to be a leader in the world in developing, harnessing, and adapting to automation. So we've been working in partnership with some of the partners you see here today since 2015 with other non-governmental organizations. As I mentioned, we can't do this internally. We can't do this as government staff on our own. We really need to understand what the technology is, understand the potential applications, and we can only do that by working with partners. So in our working group, we also want to understand all of the issues from how does emergency response change with automated vehicles? What impacts are there on employment in the city? What about land use? All of these potential things. And what decisions might we make now that could impact other groups? So we want to have a very coordinated approach. We want to tear down those silos within municipal government and make sure that we harness this disruption for the best possible outcomes. So to do that, we've been asking what we call better questions. So it started off saying, what is an automated vehicle? What kind of vehicles do they look like? Of course, we all think of robo-taxis, maybe an automated truck, but there are other things. There are sidewalk delivery robots. There could be service vehicles doing municipal services. There's all sorts of potential new vehicles coming out. We see automated shuttles that are kind of in between a van and a bus. So new opportunities, new mechanisms. So where are they going to start impacting trip choice and impacting how people move throughout the city? And then how does that change broader demands within the system? And then we really get down to what options does what options does the city have to start harnessing this or prepare for it or try to mitigate some of the outcomes? So as I mentioned, we're diving deeper into those municipal operations. You heard a lot about parking. Well, the city makes money by selling parking spaces. So if automated vehicles no longer need to park in Toronto Parking Authority, Green P parking lots, and they're driving home to free parking spaces, that's a decrease in municipal revenues, which can have some impacts either on services or taxes or a lot of our operations. If we can optimize those parking lots and get more cars in them, our revenues will go up. But does that encourage other things that will cost us in other areas? These are the kind of cross-cutting issues we want to analyze. Then we have things like robo-taxis. Do we regulate robo-taxis the same way we regulate taxis, regular taxis? What about public transit? You heard at the very beginning today that the city and the region has been investing heavily in transit infrastructure. Should automation really change that? I'll tell you, as staff, we don't think so. We think that direction has to keep going. And then what about the services that municipalities offer? Should automation be included in them? Will new services be required? If these vehicles are connected, do we then need to create connected infrastructure to help automated vehicles navigate through the transportation system? So with all of these questions, we've been trying to take as technologically agnostic an approach as possible. meaning we're trying to hedge our bets that any potential future can come around. So we think of it as a fork, where the prongs of the fork are any different future. One might be a fully automated future. One is a future with a mix of fleets, some automated, some human-driven. One is a future where everybody is using an Uber or a Lyft or some sort of on-demand service. Another future is where everybody's just upgrading their cars and continue to own their own automated vehicles. And a very important future we have to consider is the status quo. What if none of this comes about? As municipal staff, we have to be cognizant that we don't want to necessarily assume change is coming. We have to prepare for everything. So one of the ways we do that is we look at what are the early activities we can do now that will help us improve the transportation system today, but also prepare for tomorrow. So an example of that is getting better inventory of our traffic control devices, understanding where they are, what they say. Traffic control devices are signs, pavement markings, traffic signals, and getting that data and putting it out there in open data. That's a way that we can improve transportation today. We'll have better asset management. We'll be able to put out better information, but that information will also be there for connected and automated vehicles in the future. So to build our tactical plan, we took a step back and we said, okay, technology is a tool. It's not a destination in and of itself. It's not something that should shape the future. We already know what kind of future City Council and our residents and our departments have put forward, and that vision is already established. We have a number of plans. We have a strategic plan. We have a complete streets plan looking at how we can reorient our streets for all modes. We have a congestion management plan. We have an environmental plan. We have a public health plan, et cetera, et cetera. So we looked at all of those and we said, how can automated vehicles be impacted by them? And we're putting that together to create our position around automated vehicles, and we're calling that the tactical plan. So it focuses on 10 directions, just the first 6 are here, to say that automated vehicles need to help us make the city more equitable. They need to reduce our environmental impact. They need to continue our objectives of shifting people from driving cars alone to using other more sustainable modes of transportation. And they need to continue the trend that we're transit-centric, that we're focused on increasing our capacity in the transit system. Because human-driven or automated, we only have so much capacity for vehicles. So of those 10 directions, we then have a number of goals and 70 detailed tactics, which I won't get into today. But certainly if you're interested, we want to engage the public. We want to engage our stakeholders as we continue to develop this plan. And so you can always go to our website, call 311, and I'll have our contact information at the end. So the last 4 directions that we have are really around public service vehicles. So how does automation integrate into our own fleets? Of course, privacy, data security, very important issues right now and very timely. And then things like how do we improve our economy? How do we use this data to help us make more informed decisions within our own operations more broadly? So how do we access the potential intelligence that's out there from automated vehicles? So right now, we're just putting together these ideas, putting together a full plan, which will be available in the spring. And you can go to toronto.ca/automated-vehicles. It should be released, I would say, around April, but we'll be updating that very regularly. That plan will be out for public consultation. Once we get the results from that and feedback from the public, from our stakeholders, we'll be able to then make our best informed recommendation to City Council about how to navigate this future. So while we're taking that big, broad plan, we also have a very specific project we're working on because we want to understand more about the technology. And as I said, we've seen that this needs to advance transit. And so we've received some funding from Transport Canada. The city has partnered with Metrolinx and the TTC, and we're planning to launch an automated shuttle pilot project in September of 2020. So that shuttle will be around that 8 to 15 passenger capacity. It's that new type of vehicle, as I mentioned, in between a van and a bus. And it provides an opportunity for us to serve an area that's underserved in the city already. So we want to use the technology not to replace what we're doing now, but to enhance services and make them better. And so it will connect from a rapid transit station, either a GO or TTC station, somewhere in the city of Toronto, to the surrounding area where conventional transit just isn't able to provide as high level of service. So look forward to announcing that as we get closer and we select a location, and we plan for September 2020, and hopefully you'll get a chance to come out and take a ride. So as I mentioned, feel free to contact us. We really want to hear from the public, and we'll have a fuller tactical plan available just in a month or 2. Thank you.